you're dealing with a lot of belching, feeling really full, reflux, nausea, or diarrhea, this video is for you. All right, welcome back. Welcome to the video. I'm your gut health coach, Chelsea Mancini. Today we're talking about the upper GI. What the heck is that? We're taking a journey through the foundations of health and addressing the root causes behind why you're feeling like crap, why you're dealing with the belching, the nausea, the diarrhea, all that gross, unfun, uncomfortable stuff. And we're going to talk about how to treat the root cause so that you experience long-term relief, improvement, and healing. So if you're new here, welcome. I'm going to help you feel better with some actionable advice, but it wouldn't be me if I didn't teach you about why the heck what's going on is going on. We're in the business of real root healing and improvement, not quick fixes and band-aids. So when we're dealing with the burping, the belching excessively, we're dealing with the nausea, the diarrhea, the acid reflux, we're dealing with some trouble and dysfunction in the upper part of our GI, gastrointestinal system, digestive system, whatever you want to call it. What do we do about it? When you eat, here's what's supposed to happen. You chew your food, travels down your esophagus into your stomach. Your stomach is the first place your food lands, where all of the work is involuntary. You did the chewing part, now you're sending it off so the body can do the rest of the job, right? In the stomach, here's what's supposed to happen. We're supposed to get a bunch of acid that comes in, it breaks down that food, especially proteins, churns it all up, and then sends it to the next step. The stomach gets a little bit of help from two other guys, your gallbladder and your pancreas. The gallbladder sits right over here, underneath your liver, underside the right side of your rib cage, your pancreas kind of over here, chilling next to the stomach. And so after our food is all mixed around in the stomach with the acid, it moves along, and then the pancreas sends over some juices to help digest, the gallbladder sends over some juices to help digest, and then we've got our perfect cocktail of digestive juices. So when it comes to all the stuff I've already mentioned, the belching, the reflux, we're seeing some dysfunction up here. Like, what's going on? And here on this channel, we know that just because something is common doesn't mean it's normal. So especially when it comes to the belching, the reflux, and that feeling of excess fullness, what's happening usually in those three scenarios is when our food hits our stomach, it's not being digested quickly enough, adequately enough, sometimes because we don't have enough stomach acid, sometimes it's because we're under a lot of stress. So what happens is our food sits there and the pressure in our stomach begins to build. And with reflux, what happens is the little valve that closes our esophagus off from our stomach, when the pressure in the stomach is greater, that valve can open and then we get acid flowing back into the esophagus, and that's no good, right? Any amount of acid in the esophagus where it's not supposed to be is bad. And a similar thing is happening with belching, right? We've got pressure, food is kind of starting to ferment in our stomach, it's not being digested well, and so we see that in the form of belching. And again, the excess fullness, it's just this like heaviness in your stomach because your body doesn't have all that it needs. When we're talking about the nausea and the diarrhea, usually what that's going to come down to is that second step. The gallbladder and the pancreas, we're supposed to, send their helpers there to help, and if that's unable to be done well, the body's almost going to just start to see the food as a toxin, and it's just going to try to get rid of it, and that can cause the diarrhea, it can cause the nausea. It's just trying to send it down and out the system as quickly as possible. So what we want to do is we want to support this upper part of our digestive system, our stomach, our pancreas, and our gallbladder, to do their jobs and to do them well. We're going to be their cheerleaders. Yay, you guys, thank you so much for all that you do. So let's talk about how to do that. Step one is I'm going to need you to chew your food. Yep, you heard me. Simple, easy advice. Chew your food. 30 chews every single bite. What happens is the act of chewing sends a signal to your brain, and then that in your brain is then going to tell the rest of the players, hey, wake up. Time to do the job, okay? So our central nervous system, our brain, it controls that digestive process. So we need it to know that it's about to happen. And when we eat really, really fast and don't adequately chew our food, we pretty much skip that signal and end up with all the stuff that you're dealing with, which is why you're watching this video, and more. Things like bloating, things like leaky gut. So we really want to be sure to chew our food adequately. Step number 2 is whenever possible, we really want to try to ditch the screens while we're eating, close the laptop, put the phone down, take a few deep breaths. Digestion needs to happen when we're in a restful state. When we're in a restful parasympathetic state, our body prioritizes things like digestion, detoxification, healing, reproducing, all of that good stuff. When we're in a sympathetic state or a stress state, that's when our body is trying to respond. It's firing off emails. It's trying to make sure that it can do all it needs to do. Blood's traveling to the muscles away from the digestive organs so that we can fight or flight. So whenever possible, if we can ditch the screens while we're eating, that's going to be a big support to this upper part of our digestive system. Step number 3 is we're going to give the upper part of our digestive system a little bit of help, because if you've been dealing with these problems for a little while, which you probably have, I dealt with them for forever before I knew what was going on and that they weren't normal. The chewing and the shutting the screens down might not be quite enough. We might need to give our body a little bit of a kickstart, a little bit of what it's missing to help with this process. So a few things you can play around with working in from a food perspective are going to be lemons and lemon juice. Lemons, lemon juice, very healing to your body's upper digestive system. It helps with the acid production in the stomach, and it helps our liver when it comes to detoxification. And a clogged up liver makes for poor digestion. We don't want that. So lemons and lemon juice, put it in the water, squeeze it on your salad, on your fish, on your food. Very helpful for that upper GI, that upper digestive system. Other things you can play around with adding in are pineapple. Pineapple has some wonderful digestive enzymes that literally help to break down food as you eat it. So throwing the pineapple in onto your salad, put it on your pizza, I support it. Very helpful for your digestion. Another food very helpful for your digestion is going to be beets. If you love that earthy flavor, especially, again, the liver, this guy over here, and I know I didn't mention the liver earlier, but the liver is what makes the stuff that it gives to the gallbladder, that the gallbladder then has to send to our body to make sure it's digesting well. So supporting the liver is very important. Even though it's not directly involved in digestion, it is indirectly, and it's very important. So beets, very helpful there. The other thing we can do that I recommend for most people, unless perhaps you're dealing with a significant amount of reflux. If we're dealing with a lot of reflux, we need to do some tissue healing first. So check out my video on the lower digestive system for a few more tips there. The other thing with acid reflux is stress management and allergens. So a lot of times we get a lot of the reflux because stomach acid's an immune response. So if we're getting a lot of reflux, it's because our immune system's reacting. So it might mean we're allergic to something. So removing those allergens is very helpful. And if that combined with the chewing and the lowering the screens doesn't help with the reflux, then we want to take a few more steps for tissue healing. So we'll talk about that in the video on the lower GI. But for the sake of this video, what we want to do is we want to stimulate digestion. We want our body to know, hey, we need stomach acid. We need all this stuff to come in and make sure that we're digesting our food properly. So a great way to do that is with the use of herbs and herbal bitters. So you can do that via a tea, something like a nice dandelion root tea right before or right after you eat. Can be very therapeutic, or I'll link down below my favorite herbal bitter supplement, which is Urban Moonshine. It's a bitter tincture that you simply squirt into your mouth 5 to 10 minutes before your meal, so you can really get that bitter taste. Because what bitter herbs do is they help send that signal. They help our brain to know, hey, digestion needs to happen next. So by using an herbal bitter tincture along with our meals, eating bitter foods, all of those things can help to stimulate acid secretion and this digestive process that we need to happen so that we aren't belching all the time, feeling really bloated and nauseous, having diarrhea, feeling super full, okay? All of that stuff we need to stimulate this digestion, take care of this upper GI, support it with things like lemons, lemon juice, chew the food, decrease stress, and play around with adding in some herbal bitters. Okay, that's it for the upper GI. Stay tuned for our continued journey along this path. This is just step number 1. And if you're ready to really dive into the healing process on your own, check out the link below for 30% off my course, Gut Health 101, only for the next 24 hours. Make sure to follow me over on Instagram at Chelsea K. Mancini for more of the gut health, nutrition, good news. And of course, subscribe to my YouTube, hit the little subscribe button down below so that you get notified as these videos come out each week. See you next time.